Good day there once again, viewers. This is your mate Kamikaze78 here, coming to you guys with some more World of Warships content. And today, my friends, I'm going to be doing a video that I've been very much looking forward to doing for a while. In fact, ever since I went on holiday, this ship finally made its way into my account, and I was a little bit salty that I went on holiday when this ship came out, because I've been looking forward to playing this ship for a very, very long time. And it's fair to say that this ship needs no introduction whatsoever. This is the almighty Stalingrad that we are in here today, guys. And it's safe to say that this ship has got a lot of hype surrounding it, because, what can I say, this thing is an absolute beast of a battle cruiser, and it really lives up to its reputation. I know a lot of people that I know have been looking forward to getting their hands on this ship, and today we're going to be doing my gameplay and my impressions of the ship so far, where I think she stands. Is she in a good place right now? Is she not? So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first game here today is on Warrior's Path. It is the Domination game mode. We're in a tier 8 through to tier 10 match, and it is quite an evenly balanced match. A lot of ships spread across the tiers here in this game, and quite an evenly balanced team composition overall for the most part, give or take a few things here and there. And, well, let's be honest here, I am in a Stalingrad, so obviously my team has got an advantage straight out of the bat. And the two games that I've got for you today, guys, are incredibly cheeky of mine. Not exactly a, it's a very cheeky ship you can sort of play in here. It's got quite a couple of playstyles that you can sort of adopt to it, but in this case I was playing incredibly cheeky, and you're going to see that in this gameplay here today. Anyway, let's talk about the Stalingrad that I'm personally playing in. This is the Stalingrad V1, and I'm assuming that some of you guys will know at this point that there are two versions of the Stalingrad available to community contributors right now, and I am playing in version 1. Now, the version 1 of the Stalingrad acts a little bit more like a decently maneuverable battleship, if anything, a long-range fire support ship. She has, you know, the awesome shell trajectory that Russian ships are known for. Very flat, high-speed arcs that makes it extremely easy to penetrate ships at long range. As you just saw there, when I was getting fire on that enemy battleship, I was able to penetrate her extremely easily, despite her being on a little bit of an angle. So, yeah. Very, very flat shell arcs that make penetrations extremely easy. Not to mention that this build of this ship has incredibly tight dispersion. We are talking about battleship-grade guns in some cases, at least low-tier battleship-grade guns, with cruiser-grade dispersion, making her an extremely powerful long-range fire support ship, because wherever you fire, or wherever you're aiming, your shells are at least going to hit within the reasonable area. And sometimes you can get incredibly tight dispersions that will see you scoring at least 3, sometimes even 4 citadels on a target at max range. I'm not joking, I've done that on a Yamato before, and that just goes to show how powerful the AP shells here are on this ship. You know, being able to penetrate a Yamato like so is incredibly powerful, and I just scored 11k of damage on a battleship that wasn't exactly broadsiding me. She was angled, so again, really pushing the firepower here of this ship, very much focusing on that long-range fire support. Anyway, while she is focused on that long-range fire support, she does feature some great maneuverability. So basically, this role really gives her the ability to sit at long range and provide incredibly powerful fire support for your allied battleships that are sort of, you know, pelting away at enemy battleships at long range. You can do the same, but with a faster reload. So as a result, you're sort of going to be scoring, you know, sometimes you're not going to score as much damage per salvo as what a full-fledged battleship will, but you're going to be scoring more of those salvos, which means you're going to make up for that lost damage, sort of really giving her, again, that battle cruiser kind of role. Now, her emphasis on the maneuverability is really justified by her rudder shift. Her rudder shift time here, especially on the version 1, is quite decent. Again, really cruiser-like, which means that if you see shells coming in from long distance from an enemy battleship that are trying to delete you off the map, you can simply do some really shifty maneuverability and manage to dodge a lot of the shells that are coming in. So the emphasis on rudder shift is one of the main differences here between this version of the Stalingrad and Stalingrad version 2. The Stalingrad version 2 focuses more so on straight line maneuverability or straight line speed, and sacrifices some of that maneuverability here, which in my personal opinion, kind of detracts from the functionality of the ship overall. Not to mention that Stalingrad 2 also brings out the ability to fire HE shells, but at the cost of a much wider dispersion. So at the end of the day, I kind of do prefer Stalingrad 1 for her more, you know, her more focused playstyle, in my humble opinion. And that's kind of what I mean there, guys. That was 3 citadels there on a Des Moines at 16 kilometers. In a cruiser, that's really unheard of to score that kind of damage. It was 30k of damage. We're going to try and score a kill on her, but unfortunately the Des Moines is angling. Look, I harp on about how good the AP shells here on this ship, but, you know, any ship that's showing a good angle, especially a Des Moines, which has nice angled slope armor, is always going to, you know, perform quite well against these shells. But, you know, again, it was still a hell of a salvo. 30k of damage here in a cruiser, versing a cruiser, is quite unheard of, especially at 16ks. So it goes to show how effective this cruiser can be at the long-range fire support role. Now, of course, as far as the loadout is concerned, my commander skill is a priority target because, you know, while this ship is a battle cruiser, it's not a battleship, so she has issues tanking a lot of damage at a time. So priority target really gives you an idea as to how many ships aiming at you and whether you need to take evasive action or start angling accordingly. Expert marksman, just to speed up some of that traverse speed. You know, it's a really, really good thing to do. Adrenaline rush is often something I find really useful on this ship as well, because when you get into those knife fights that the Stalingrad, at least this version of the Stalingrad, really isn't designed to get into, having that adrenaline rush will speed up your reload just a little bit and will allow for you to score those high damage salvos just a little bit faster. Superintendent for those extra repair parties, a really, really helpful thing to have when you're going to be targeted by big burly battleships. And concealment expert just to sort of give this ship a little bit more of a ability to disengage, because you will find the need for that in this style of ship, I found, which is something that I'm sure will carry over into the live servers, because I think this ship will be keeping her playstyle as intended currently, and I really hope she keeps this build at least. As far as the upgrades are concerned, main armament mod 1, damage control mod 1, aiming systems mod 1, damage control systems mod 2, concealment systems mod 1, and main battery mod 3, all sort of aiming to either A, improve on the ship's survivability, because as you can see right now, I'm being targeted by this Zao, and anything I can do to sort of bolster my survivability and just pepper at the ship at long range will assist me big time in sort of beating the ship, because right now I feel I've got the advantage. I've got the long range ship that can fire fast, well, respectively for the caliber, and can score some high-end damage salvos. It just sort of really pushes the ability of being able to bolster the ship's survivability and sort of focus more so on improving the main armament. Now, as we move further and further into this game, our team has got a massive lead. 9k salvo there on that Zao, taking us up to 100k only in the first 8 minutes. So as you can see, scoring some heavy damage with this ship here, all things considered, despite the fact that we've been sitting pretty far back. Now, right now, we're sort of on the push. We're on the charge here. The Zao's pushing back, the Alsace is pushing back, mainly firing HE at me because I'm angled against him, so he's having a really hard time penetrating my armor. And we're sort of just pushing the objective here, because right now we've got 3 capture points, our team is in a massive lead, but this Alsace here is starting to get on my nerves. You know, he's firing HE, he's really angling himself quite nicely as well. I'm sort of in a bit of a wild goose chase here. I should probably have disengaged here. I did play this really risky. When I said I had a cheeky game here in the Stalingrad, guys, it was a very cheeky game. Quite frankly, I don't think I should have survived here, and you'll see what I mean in just a few minutes, but I'm really pushing the Alsace here out to the borderline of the map. Now, I'm scoring damage, 3k salvos, while he's angled with AP only, which is doing pretty well. I'm actually doing better than what he's doing damage-wise pretty regularly at this point. But the fact that he keeps going concealed is really starting to bug me as well. 2 more fires on board there, but we are in a cruiser, so what we do get blessed with here is a pretty fast reload time here on the damage control module, at least when we've got it upgraded. We've also got access to repair parties, so that's not going to be an issue at all, but I am starting to run a little bit low on those repair parties, and you're going to see sort of a very desperate act taken into consideration here. Now, obviously, the Alsace has realized that he's being pushed out to the edge of the map here. He doesn't want any of that action. He's going to start getting into a brawling measure. He only took 1k of damage off me there, though, so he's not exactly scoring high damage hits, where we just took 9k off him. So we are definitely starting to win this engagement. But here comes the risky part. The Alsace here is known for her secondary build. She is quite a secondary armament powerful ship, and we're going to see that come to fruition any moment. But anyway, we just got 10k damage off him anyway. Here comes one HE volley, and as you can probably see in the distance here, here comes the rain of secondary fire. Look at that thing go. Look, honestly, guys, it rivals German battleships sometimes. It really, really does. But anyway, another 6k damage right there, getting the rear gun to bear while he's busy reloading. Once again, guys, that's the advantage here of this ship over our battleships. She can basically go forth and use that faster reload time to really, really score the damage on enemy battleships and get the advantage while they are too busy reloading. That's the main prowess of this ship. However, the issue I'm facing now is Brawling. This ship is not a brawler. She doesn't have the secondaries to do it, and while the reload time is better, she certainly doesn't have the armor to brawl against enemy battleships. She just doesn't. When caught in a knife fight, her armor will fall short to flat shell arcs of high caliber enemy battleships. And I've got 2 fires on board, courtesy of the Alsace's secondaries. So as a result of that, we're kind of clinging to the wire here, using our repair party to kind of score a bit of a buff here while the fires go out, because our damage control party is nowhere near ready. So yeah, as a result of that, we are kind of clinging to the wire here. So we're going to stick a little further back here. We have basically won this game. So we're going to basically start rating some fire support on this Missouri, getting back to basics here with this ship, focusing on long-range, fast fire rate fire support. Because we are on low health now, we do have that faster fire rate. It was originally a 16-second reload here on the main armament. But because of the adrenaline rush ability we've got, it comes down to approximately 15 seconds. A little bit of an improvement there. But yeah, it may not seem like a whole lot, but it does add up in the long run to scoring extra damage. Now, not scoring huge damage potential right now because my aim is primarily off. This Missouri is doing a really, really good job here at actually moving around quite a lot and keeping himself extremely unpredictable, which you're going to see by my rounds missing for the most part again. Only scoring 1,000 damage, but it's better than nothing. But I do see him slowly starting, at least at one point, I see him slowly starting to turn. At least I believe I do. Anyway, he's not focused on us right now, so we've got free range just to rain fire at him. Try and find the sweet spot here, just scoring a decent amount of damage. I can tell you that wasn't it right there, because goddamn, that was a really shitty shot, scoring absolutely no damage whatsoever. We do have priority target pinging us that there is a ship engaging us now, and it is in fact the Missouri. With that, he is going to start broadsiding out. He unfortunately goes into an invisible mode. He goes into concealment, but he does start getting alerted pretty quickly. He fires out a salvo to me instantly, and this is when the maneuverability of the Stalingrad is going to come into play here. I know these shells are coming in, so as a result, I'm going to quickly, and I mean very, very quickly, start turning in to avoid where those shells are coming in from. As a result, we don't eat a salvo and manage to survive here. And thanks to that fast reload, we've got more shells heading out his way before he even has a chance to react. He's gone full broadside, we penetrate his armor and send him straight down to Davy Jones' locker, score our second kill for the game, and as a result come out with a pretty confident victory there, scoring 2 kills, 164,000 damage, which, you know, high tier, cruiser level, that's the sort of, you know, damage, that's the sort of damage numbers you'd expect out of a battleship who had scored quite a few citadels, and we scored that in a high tier cruiser. Again, guys, really just emphasizing how much damage this ship can pull. Anyway, that was our first game. Let's transition on to game 2. And here we are, guys, playing the second round in this video. This time we are on the Sleeping Giant map. We're playing the Domination game mode once again. This is once again a tier 8 to tier 10 game, but it's barely tier 8. This was a much more balanced dispersion of tiers here. There was a lot less tier 8 seal clubbing in this game, which, you know, makes you feel a little less bad about winning a game, but, you know, everyone enjoys a good deal of cheeky little bullying on the lower tiers here, but, you know, you get what you do. You know, that's the risk of jumping into a tier 8 these days with the matchmaker. Anyway, as you guys saw in the last game, I was playing pretty aggressively in the Stalingrad, really pushing her boundaries, quite frankly. Again, the Stalingrad is not a very competitive ship when pushing the objective. She's very much, as I said before, a long-range fire support ship. And you're going to sort of see the opposite here in this gameplay of this game. You're going to see me play a little bit more defensively, play a little bit more cheeky, not in the sense of pushing forward, but in the sense of sitting back and just annoying people from a long distance and really just aiming to get on their nerves. That's what I'm going to be trying to do in this game. Kind of support my allies from the safety of cover, essentially, because this map does have a lot of low-lying cover, especially around the A point, and you're going to see me really get cheeky on the A point here and sort of fire at angles that enemies simply can't counter me with. Because again, due to that flat shell arc, it makes it really easy to penetrate targets at longer ranges. That said, though, with this flat shell arc that the Russians are known for, it's difficult to score those over the hill penetrating shots because with the flat shell arc, it's harder to get. You got to get lower defilades of terrain to get the shells over, and there's less of that on some maps, and you've really got to pick your spots as to where you're going to be able to shoot at enemies from. So that's sort of an issue you're going to face with the Stalingrad. You're not going to be able to take on a lot of cover. You're going to have to sit in the open a lot more because a lot of the islands that you could probably shoot over, say, in American cruisers, you're not going to be able to do that in this ship at all. You're going to have to, because you're just going to simply hit the island a lot. So, yeah, you're going to have a lot less opportunities in that regard. Anyway, spotted a Cleveland out at long range. The hill is very slightly in the way. I'm going to sort of switch to the main gun camera and see if I can get cheeky with some rounds over the hill here. Just managed to squeeze 5 of the 9 shots over, and we're going to score a hit or 2 here. Nothing too decent. Going to score a penetration on a gun and get it incapacitated and score 920 damage in an overpen. As I said, nothing overly impressive, but hey, something to start off with. Main objective here is to sort of push out beyond the A point here, support our destroyer and battleship, who's playing extremely aggressively here. This Conqueror really don't give 2 shits. He's sort of just pushed out here with the intention of just railing everybody's shit. This Monarch is also sort of following suit, though, so it's going to be an interesting fight between Monarch and Conqueror, and I think we both know how that's going to go. Anyway, again, continuing to pepper this Monarch here. These shells, again, just look at that tight shell dispersion. That is the real power of this vessel. The fact that her shell dispersion here just remains tight, and if you can find the sweet spot on an enemy ship, you can guarantee that at least 2 of your shells are going to go there per salvo. And if not, well, then RNG really, really does hate you, and I've got nothing to say, quite frankly, because, again, just tight dispersion. Now, I noticed that someone is targeting me here, not scoring a huge amount of damage on that Monarch, but it is something, again, we've got that fast reload to counteract the low-end damage scores. And I know for a fact that the Monarch isn't targeting me, or at least it's not right now, and I can see those AP shells, or those HE shells, I should say, come in from a certain distance away, so we decide to slow right down. Again, using that maneuverability, using the fact that I'm not going as fast as Stalingrad V2, and using the tighter turning radius as an opportunity, or the tighter rudder shift turning time as an opportunity to dodge incoming shells to my advantage. And as we can see here, this old mate Monarch here has really overstepped his bounds here, and I think we might try and steal a kill here. I don't think it's going to work, but we might just get the shells in time. There we go. Nice little first kill there for the game. Didn't get first blood for some reason. Don't know why that didn't happen. Maybe I scored it on the day already. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know anymore. Sometimes it's a bit odd as to when you do and don't get accolades there. But anyway, focusing on the Zhao now. Zhao's turning out, but not going to matter. We're going to score a Citadel on him. He chose to turn out just a little bit late and felt the Stalingrad's raw power. Once again, he's not exactly turned out a whole lot here. He's playing quite aggressively, or quite passionately, I will say. That said, though, we did fire a little bit too far forward on the bow there, scoring only a couple of one overpen and a couple of deflections. Nothing too impressive. Shimakaze there was considering engaging him, but realized that maybe this shell would get in the way. And look, I got greedy, quite frankly. Decided to try and sneak some shells over. I don't know how those shells actually managed to make it through the island. Maybe, we're using the Stalinium rounds here, so maybe these AP shells are so powerful that they just penetrate islands in the same process. I don't know, guys. Look, quite frankly, we're playing Russian bias, say what you will. Apparently these shells now penetrate islands. I have seen them do it actually once or twice, but I'm assuming that those are more or less issues with the terrain hitboxes more than anything. Anyway, Mr. Zhao here, really starting to annoy me, but I've decided just to go concealment because he's angled in such a way where me shooting at him now will not generate a whole lot of good. But because I've gone concealment here, I think he's actually gone a little bit cocky. And he's thinking about potentially starting to broadside out, and Yeah, there he is. He's noticed that I've gone off the map. He can't see any ships right now that are going to be of huge threat to him, and he's decided to broadside straight out for us. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make a huge deal of this advantage here, and going to get to cover instead and sort of just try and find myself a little bit of a safe zone here. And this right here, guys, is where the cheekiness starts. I've managed to find myself a small nook in the map, and on this map here, on Sleeping Giants, there's a lot of little nooks and crannies here in the terrain around A Point where if you're in a battleship or a cruiser, you can just simply rain fire support through this little gap in the hills here and remain completely undetected and just go for gold. You really can. And you're going to see me sort of just bully this Montana into getting the hell out of there. He's not having a fun time at all, but do I give a shit? Nah. Now, at this point, the Montana has gone ahead and launched a very cheeky plane because he's, well, quite frankly, getting sick of my shit shooting over this mountain, which means that he's now very much capable of doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. Because I don't have those high arc shells, he's going to have the exact same capability. I know because I can get my low arc shells over there that he's going to be able to get his low arc shells over the mountain, and I'm going to cop a decent amount of damage for that. So yeah, look, that's what being cheeky gets you guys. Don't expect people to fight back. Very well played by him to get his plane over there and get a line of sight on me. The Zao is also starting to annoy me again. Montana has decided to he's just slowly starting to move into an angle that I won't be able to get my shells over the mountain. So I decided to switch up targets just a little bit here, but overshoot the Zao. That is one thing that I find sort of tough to get used to here with these Russian shell arcs, is because they're so fast moving. Even at such a like a 13-kilometer distance, you've only got a 6-second travel time on the rounds. Like for another tier 10 ship like I have, which is the Minotaur, at such a distance, I'd be looking at least like at a 12-second travel time. So the travel times on these shells can take a little bit of time to get used to, which can see you, quite frankly, overshooting your targets. But once we got the hang of it, we did manage to citadel that Zao once again, which sort of made him think twice about engaging us once again. But now we're sort of left in this moment of pause, you know what I mean? We're kind of just waiting for another ship to show itself. On cue, the Zao does, but I don't really want to leave this spot. I'm quite happy with where I am right now. These battleships are having trouble shooting at me. We do now lose that detection again, which means that I now have free reign over these targets. There's no way I'm going to hit that Missouri because, once again, low shell arcs make for a bit of a bitch. Now, that Zao did go into stealth, and while he was doing that, he was also turning for a broadside, which is going to see us get 7 over penetrations and 2 pens, which I think equated to about 13k of damage. Just absolutely filthy damage numbers, my friends. Going to try and score some very cheeky damage there on that Montana that was out in the distance there as he was turning out, but because he was turning out, only going to score 2k of damage there. Not going to be the total amount I wanted, but oh well, what can you do? Sort of now just trying to find another advantage to maximize some damage. I have gone ahead and made a pretty silly turn here straight into the island, which hasn't served me well at all. I've kind of locked my my options off because I do have an island in the way of me engaging that Izumo. Figured I'd take a wild pot shot at this enemy Zao that's off here in the distance. Really nice shell dispersion on that salvo, but once again have limited myself to a very small window of opportunity here, and while the dispersion looked nice, it just simply wasn't on my side. Aimed a little bit too short of the target, and the dispersion just seemed to splash his deck. So there are times where that's going to happen with any ship, even with, a ship that is designed to be as accurate as this. This salvo looks a little bit more pleasant though, and there is another citadel right there, guys. Even at such a range, we are managing to score such healthy amounts of damage on my foes. We're detected once again because one of the battleships decided to launch another spotter plane, like the annoying devils they are. Doesn't matter, we're going to score 7k damage on that battleship there while he's broadsiding us. Mr. Zao off there in the distance there, once again, giving off a fairly decent angle, but then again, the battleship has decided that I am very much outstaying my welcome. But then again, the maneuverability granted to us within this ship means that we're able to dodge those salvos pretty effectively. He simply overshot us in the back, but then again, the Missouri is like, oh, so the Montana can't do it? Fine, I'll come pick up the slack, and puts me down onto 1k health, and at that point I know it's time to disengage for a bit and get a little bit of distance. Putting the hill there to our good use, blocking the shells coming in from the Montana. If I hadn't have done that, I probably would have eaten a killing salvo there, but we did manage to score 13k on him in return. So once again, because you're in a ship here that has these low shell arcs, you can actually use what you know your shells are capable of doing and use that against your enemies by, you know, knowing what they are able to do, especially when they're in a battleship. So you can basically say to yourself, okay, I know I can't get my shells over this hill, means that the enemy ship is not going to be able to do the same here. So it's going to be like an eye for an eye, if you will. So yeah, just taking this opportunity now to heal up a little bit, have popped a radar just in case just to make sure there's nothing sneaking around the islands here to catch us off guard here, but we are in fact pretty safe, all things considered. Just using our rear gun to get it past the mountaintop there. And there is the Mighty Montana, I should say, not the Mighty the Montana, once again, who has proved to be fairly elusive all game. But I have noticed out here that the Missouri has very much so overextended and kind of put himself into a position where he's now my priority target. Because right now, he could he's very, very capable of ending me if I don't focus fire him. So it's time to start really putting the hurt locker down on him. As you could see there, he just scored 7k of damage on me, and when I'm on such low health, I don't really want to be taking any risks. So, scoring a decent amount of damage on him on that last salvo there, sort of disencouraging him from continuing to engage, but the fire is in fact going to put him down to such a low amount of health that we're going to be able to jump in there and secure the kill. We've really pushed this enemy team into a corner now. They've got no capture points left. They're all having a really, really bad time. Just going to sneak some rounds one more time past that hill. Once again, really using the terrain here to my advantage. Despite me being in a ship that fires very, very flat shell arcs, I'm still able to take this terrain, use it to my advantage, play the map, guys. That's pretty much one of the main things to take from this game here, to play the map to the advantage of your ship and really force the hand of the enemy to play to your comfort zone. Now we've got a Zao moving at a very consistent speed over here. Take a look at that dispersion on those top two rounds there. Nice and flat. One more Citadel just for good measure there, just to tell him that we are in fact still around and that he should in fact be very, very scared of us. Unfortunately, the remainder of the rounds hit quite high, because if they didn't, then I'm pretty sure we would have just simply flat out murdered him there. But, you know, it's not a perfect world, and I will take what I damn well can get there. Anyway, the Zao has decided to very smartly angle towards me after copying that salvo. But it's pretty much a self-assured victory at this point. 3 capture points on the board here. We have a dominating victory as far as numbers are concerned. So now it's just a matter of scoring as much damage as we can and potentially getting one more kill in the game before we wrap things up here today. Not sure if we're going to be able to do it, but then again, Mr. Zao decides to show his face one more time, and he is turning out. Can we secure the kill? Rounds are looking just a tiny bit short here. Can we do it? Yeah, no, 2 overpens. Not going to do it, not today. And I think we're going to see some cheeky rounds come in from a cruiser off to the left here and proceed to knock that Zao out of the game just as our rounds were making a trip out. If my rear gun turret had just cleared the mountain, I think we would have made it just before those shells. But I tell you what, guys, with 158,000 damage on the board, shells coming in from the Des Moines, I think we played pretty well there. And yeah, managed to score ourselves some fairly impressive rounds in the game there, really showing off the power of the Stalingrad. If you play it well, play it to the map, play it just with a little bit of sass, a little bit of cheek in there, you can really get some good games in. And in those 2 lobbies there, you guys got to see just how powerful the ship can be in 2 different situations when you play the map right. So guys, if you're keen on the Stalingrad, and if you are someone who enjoys cruisers that can take on the big brothers, that being battleships, you're going to really enjoy this ship, guys. And it's something to really, really look forward to when it comes out later in later in the development cycle for this game. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video, then a backhanding of that like button would be greatly appreciated. And say you find yourself backhanding the like button and you're new to the channel, backhand the subscribe button whilst you're at it to keep up to date with all things of my content. I'm going to be going back to streaming very, very shortly as well, guys. So follow me on Twitter, jump in my Discord to know when I'm going to be streaming and what I'm going to be streaming, so you guys can come in and join in on the fun. If you have any thoughts on the Stalingrad, leave it in the comment section down below, guys. And yeah, as per always, guys, social media links linked in the description down below. Once again, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Peace out, and I'll be seeing y'all next time.